Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Light Sports Ramble. As always, my pleasure to come to you this evening. A little bit rainy here in Indianapolis tonight and a little bit slow on the highway. But that's okay because I have 15 minutes to ramble with you guys. I do want to thank Evan Watallison for co-hosting with me last night on the Light Sports Ramble. I'll tell you, when Evan and I get together, we can just ramble. And that was evident last night as to why we actually recorded 2 episodes. So if you haven't checked out last night's Light Sports Ramble, I really encourage that you do. Packer Talk, and then a second episode of what we call Twitter Talk. But again, Evan, I appreciate you co-hosting with me on Thursday nights. I look forward to every Thursday from here on out. But let's get into tonight's episode, folks. We all know Friday night is the upset episode where I go through, I submit my official picks for the week, and then any team that is ranked lower in the ESPN power rankings that I pick to beat a higher ranked team is considered the upset. And for the year, I am 6-4 in my upset picks. I'm 22-10 overall. This week, however, only 3 upset picks. Yeah, that's right, only 3. Now, I should say that there are 2 games that were my last 2 picks that I could have made it 5. Those are 2 games that are literally, I'm going to flip a coin and see who I think is going to win this game. But I'll give you my logic. I'll discuss these 5 games and why I picked them. So I'm going to start with the first game on the slate that I picked as an upset. And it's the Texans-Ravens game. Houston is going to Baltimore. As I've said, Houston is ranked 4th in the power rankings, which I do not agree with. Now, I do agree that they should be ranked higher than the Ravens because I'm not even impressed with the Ravens. But I knew that coming into the season. I knew there was going to be some growing pains there with the retirements and the losses in free agency. But I am not impressed with Houston. For a team that is supposed to take the next step to contend to go to the Super Bowl, they're letting 2 mediocre teams in the Chargers and the Titans hang around, and they had to win on a field goal and in overtime. If you're a Super Bowl contender, you should be taking care of business when you play teams like that. And they just aren't doing it. They're letting teams hang around. That defense that's supposed to be so great looks just average to me. On the Ravens side, just what we expected. Offense doesn't look that great. Still have a very good offensive line. But that defense has taken a step backwards, in my opinion. It's not that very elite defense that we're used to in Baltimore. And that's a good defense. It's just not used to the defense we're used to seeing in Baltimore. And I've said this a million times. Quarterback play with Joe Flacco, average to just above average at best. Not an elite quarterback. Not impressing me. And so when I look at this game, I still think Houston's going to go into Baltimore, and I think the Ravens are going to beat Houston. And the reason is, Houston let San Diego hang around, they let Tennessee hang around. If you let Baltimore hang around, this is the defending world champions. They have been battle tested. They've been in situations where they may not be playing well, but they can pull a game out. And that's how I see this game going down. Houston lets Baltimore hang around. They make a play. And all of a sudden, before Houston knows it, Baltimore escapes with a win at home. My second upset pick of the week is probably a game that's not on everybody's must-watch TV. But it's the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I mean, you got two teams, one ranked 26th, which is the Bills. You've got the Jets that are ranked 28th. I'm picking the Jets over the Bills. Now, my intrigue here is actually the two rookie quarterbacks going head-to-head for the first time. You got Geno Smith and you got Manuel going head-to-head for the first time. The first of many games that I see these two going head-to-head. And I will say, I'm going to give both of these quarterbacks some props early in their two-game NFL careers. I think they are withstanding the pressure. They're going out and they're playing. Now, yeah, they're making mistakes. They're making rookie mistakes. But Manuel got his first ever NFL career comeback. These things are great. I mean, Geno made the scramble, got the penalty, they kicked the game-winning field goal. These quarterbacks are going out and playing hard, and we're going to see the progression. Now, how fast we see it, I don't know. But this is a game that I'm probably going to flip on and watch a few minutes of these games to see these quarterbacks play. Now, on paper, they're probably mirror images of each other. And I think when the season is done, the records are going to show that too. Probably around the same record at the end of the year. They're within 2 spots of each other in the power rankings. But the reason I'm giving the game to the Jets is because I think the Jets defense is playing much better at this point in the season. I'm giving that Jets defense a lot of credit for what they've done in the first 2 games. And when I go through the quarterbacks and the offensive lines and the skill positions, the thing that stands out to me is that the Jets right now have a better defense, and that's what's going to allow them to win the game on Sunday. My third upset pick, and this is the one where you guys are going to shake your head and say, Troy, did you stop at the Detour Bar and Grill before your episode? And to answer that question, no, I did not. I'm en route to a 6-hour drive. It is the Chicago Bear Pittsburgh Steelers game. Chicago is ranked 9th in the rankings. The Steelers have fallen all the way down to 25. I am taking the Steelers at home on Sunday night, prime time, to beat the Bears. Now, these teams are on 2 different ends of the spectrum. The Bears are 2-0. The Steelers are 0-2. The Bears are playing okay. The Steelers are playing like crap. And you're probably saying, Troy, how in the world can you pick the Steelers over the Bears? This is why. Very simply, the Bears are very close to being 0-2. But I'm going to give them credit. They hung in there. They played tough. They found a way to pull the game out. And that's what's made them 2-0. I've also said Jay Cutler looks a lot more comfortable in Trestman's offense. And the answer is yes, he does look more comfortable in that offense. However, when the pressure breaks down, Jay Cutler goes back to being Jay Cutler. We saw it last week when Cutler had a fumble and the Vikings scored a touchdown. And so the reason I think Pittsburgh's going to pull this out is I think Dick LeBeau has been embarrassed in weeks 1 and 2. And I think that he is fed up with it. And he is going to go back to the drawing board, and he's going to take that defense that is aging and that defense that is getting slower, and he is going to make the right adjustments this week to beat the Bears. I think Dick LeBeau's defense is going to force turnovers, which they have not done in weeks 1 and 2. And I think Dick LeBeau is going to scheme some way to get pressure on that quarterback, because they've done neither in games 1 and 2, and that's part of the problem. And then the offense going 3 and out is another problem, because with an aging defense, you can't keep throwing them back on the field. And that's what's been going on. But I think this Sunday, Dick LeBeau and Mike Tomlin go back to the drawing board, and they figure out a way to get some pressure on Cutler, and they figure out a way to force him into mistakes and to make Jay Cutler be Jay Cutler again. So again, my pick, Steelers over the Bears. And that's probably my big wow upset of the week. Now, the 2 games that I thought were toss-ups, literally my 15th game that I picked and my 16th game that I picked, these are the games that I see can go either way. Very well could have been a 5 upset week. But the first of those 2 games is the Rams at the Cowboys. I think the Rams are one of those teams that are kind of flying under the radar. No expectations of the Rams. But Jeff Fisher has them playing pretty good football. The Cowboys, the expectations are a little bit higher. And I don't know if you'd say they're disappointing through 2 weeks. I mean, they're 1-1. They're right there in that division where I think 9-7 is going to win it. So I think the Cowboys are okay. But I really believe this is a straight up even game. And so why do I think the Cowboys are going to hold rank with their 15th ranking over the 17th ranked Rams? Defense. Just defense. I think right now the Cowboys get a slight edge on defense. I think the Cowboys have better skill position players at wide receiver than the Rams do. And so I'm giving the edge to the Cowboys at home to take care of the Rams. Now, the other game that I think is close is the Chargers over the Titans. Now, last week or this week in my ramble about the Titans, I'm like, how do you give them no respect for the way that they've played the first 2 weeks? They beat the Steelers, they took the Texans to the wire, but they still end up being ranked 22nd. I think the big thing right here that allowed me to stay true to the higher ranked Chargers is that the Titans just don't have that prolific offense. If they had any signs of being able to make those big plays, I probably would have taken the Titans at home. The problem I have here, though, is that I think San Diego has their offense getting a little bit better. Now, they have to get consistent. But I think Phillip Rivers is playing rejuvenated, and I think he's going to go to Tennessee against a team that the Chargers have never lost to. The Chargers are 7-0 against the Tennessee Titans. And I think that is the stat that swayed me to pick the Chargers to go into Tennessee and to take care of business. So there you have it, folks. My 3 upset picks again. Ravens over the Texans, the Jets over the Bills, and yes, the Steelers over the Bears on Sunday Night Football. So with that said, folks, enjoy your evening. Be safe. I'll see you at the next red light. Enjoy your weekend.